Hello, this is Watch All About with another watch review, and this review is of a watch that I've been quite excited to get my hands on. This is the Aquatico Supercharger. So Aquatico are a fairly new brand, led up by Kelvin Lee, and he's very active in a few of the Facebook groups and the online community. So this is the Supercharger. The RRP is $210. Currently that equates to around 160, 165 pounds. So we'll have a look at it in closer detail to see if it is good value for money. So size wise, you are getting a lot of watch for your money. It's pretty tank, to be completely honest. So I've got about a 7¼ inch wrist for reference. So if I get this bad boy on, so have a look at that. Diameter 44mm, with a lug-to-lug length of 54mm. Obviously, because it's so square, it does appear a little bit bigger than that, with a pretty whopping height of 16mm as well. Yeah, it's quite an epic size and very impressive watch when you look at it. Weight-wise, it's 184 grams, which is pretty insane considering it comes on a rubber strap. So you can really feel there's quite a lot of weight behind the case, although it does still remain quite well balanced on the wrist whilst you're wearing it. So water resistance, very good water resistance of 300 meters or 30 atmospheres. So you really could. It's obviously designed for a diving watch, and you could go pretty good amount of diving with it. Movement, we have a Seiko NH36 movement, which is a pretty well-known workhorse. Its sister, the NH35, is actually more used more regularly, but the 36 is just as good. The only difference is that it has a slight difference in the day and date indicator. Not that this watch uses either anyway. So there we go. The accuracy of that, I've tested it on my Lepsy watch scope, and it's coming in a pretty immense minus 0.1 seconds a day, which is insanely accurate. So obviously there must be some sort of regulation going on there before it gets shipped out, so that is really impressive. Our lug width 24mm, so really big, fat, juicy strap to go with our epic sized case, and you get a 1-year warranty with it as well. So let's go through each element in detail then. So first off, our dial. So it's a very straightforward, simple looking dial. It actually feels a little bit tactical to me, I think. It is actually technically a sandwich dial, so if we look at it in closer detail with the macro lens a little bit later, you'll notice all the hour markers are at a slightly lower level than the top matte black layer, and they're all filled with lume. So you do get a slight bit of depth to the dial as you're looking at it. We also have this rehaut surrounding it with a minute track, so that provides a certain amount of depth to the dial as well. The finishing of the watch, finishing of the dial is all pretty spot on. You can't really notice any big flaws with the naked eye. We'll have a look at it obviously again with the macro lens on, just to see how it looks in much closer detail. But to the naked eye, it's yeah, it's really well constructed. One thing I do like from a design point of view is how the 3, 6 and 9 have a leading 0 as well, to sort of match the double digits of the 12. Also the font used is pretty cool and futuristic, if you will. So a couple of nice little design features there that I'm quite impressed by. And then we have the crosshairs in the centre as well. So although in reality the design of the dial is very simple, very bold, very easy to read, very legible, there's a couple of little bits on there which are pretty interesting. Moving on to the hands, I do like the orange for the second hand. Provides a real good splash of colour, the only bit of colour on the entire watch, And then our hands, our minute and hour hands are a slightly unusual shape, almost like a fish kind of shape. You can see we have these like little tails at the bottom, and they are pitched as well and filled with loom, and have a brushed finish to them. So moving on to the case then. First of all, we have a sapphire crystal sitting on top, and I am outside, so obviously there are reflections here, but with day-to-day use, the anti-reflective coating is really sensational for the price. I'm always saying that a decent anti-reflective coating makes a difference between a watch looking fairly average and a watch looking above average. So I'm really pleased to see a really decent clarity on this watch. It really sets off the entire watch really nicely. The case itself, as you can see, again very simple, but there's lots of little intricacies. So in reality we have this central barrel, and then a top and a bottom bar, which are like a top and bottom slab almost, which are put together with these screws. So in the corners we have these sort of bulges connected to the barrel, which house the threads of the screws, and then the lugs themselves are actually connected to the bottom bar, and they don't actually meet up there, they just like slightly touch, as you can see there. So and our crown, I have a dolphin, really nice knurled grip. It's a screw and crown obviously for the water resistance, but the thread itself is on the inside, so really nice decent thread and decent usage of that. Really nice, feels really solid in the hand when you're using it. Go screw that back up. Good knurled grip as well. So yeah, nicely done crown. It's quite a nice size and shape as well when you look at the watch as a whole. So looking at these hex screws in the corner, again very industrial and very like raw, almost back to basics kind of feel. The entire case is brushed, as you can see, and this bezel piece has like an outward brushed finish to it, whereas everything is linear vertically. Moving on to the case back, so we have a picture of it's I think it could be better in terms of artistic nature. But you know, it's a little bit interesting, isn't it? We have these details surrounding the outside. Everything's quite lightly engraved, but at least it is engraved rather than laser etched. So, but maybe this is something that would be a nicer, being improved, and you never know, maybe in the future it will be. So yeah, that concludes the case. Moving on to the strap. Obviously, we have a rubber strap, really handy for scuba diving, purpose built really for scuba diving. Sometimes these can be really tough and hard to wear, but I've actually found straight away this is really nice and soft and supple, very comfortable on as well, even on your your naked wrist, because usually you'd wear this over the top of a scuba suit if you were really going diving. But I haven't really had the want to replace it at all. No doubt this watch will look pretty cool on a leather strap as well, but I haven't really had the urge to want to change it at all. Nice little holes all the way along for interest and detailing, and then have these channels down either side as well, and then a nice little angle at the bottom, just for a little design tweak really. Then moving up here to our pretty meaty buckle, very angular tongue, and then just a again, nice and chunky buckle there with the logo Aquatico engraved on the top bar. Okay, so let's get the macro lens on and we will look at it in closer detail. So starting with the dial. So it's the logo. You can see our matte black finish to it, and also our sandwich elements are hour markers, all very nicely printed out. The loom on this watch is actually above average, so check out the full written review and you'll be able to see a loom shot of it. And then moving on to our hands, so we can see the brushed finish texture to it and a slight pitch as well. And our orange hands there as well. Nice bit of print work, 1000 foot, 300 meters, and then our minute tracking the rehout. There we go. Moving on to the case itself then. So here's our bezel. Moving on to our case itself. And then there's our barrel. So we have this like 3 or 4 layers right on top of each other. Here's one of those screws. And here's another example. And then we look at our lugs, obviously drilled through for the pin. If we swing it over here, we can look at the crown. There's our dolphin logo. And our nice knurled grip as well. Sort of a more bead blasted finish to it that the crown has. And then if we flip it over, you'll see our brushing on the case back and our detailing as well. There's our mermaid and our dolphin. There we go. Okay. So the supercharger then. As I said before, I had been looking forward to it because the price, it just seemed really good. You know, £165 or $210 for the size of the watch, mechanical, automatic. You know, what seemed to be really good and well constructed watch. And I've been completely impressed by it, as I was hoping. Really well constructed for the price. You know, it's amazing how much of a watch it is. It most definitely isn't for everyone though, and it's not even a watch you can really wear every day, all day, every day. You know, it has a very specific place. It's definitely not a smart watch, is it? Definitely a practical watch, but one you could wear casually as well. But it is a timepiece that really does impress. You know, when you get to take a glance of it with the lovely anti-reflective crystal and just the general construction of the case, it really does catch your eye, and many other people will notice it as well, especially for the size of it. But the specs are great as well. You know, 300 meters water resistance. I have been swimming with it, I have taken it into the sea, and it's held up really well. Seiko NH36 automatic movement as well. And just the weight of it, 184 grams. You know, you really feel like you're getting a decent beast of a watch for your money. So yeah, I've been really impressed with it, and I really like it, and for the price it is an excellent buy. I'm more than happy to say that. So this was the Aquatico Supercharger, and that's what it's all about.